Last year, the San Francisco 49ers and New Orleans Saints, in a battle for playoff position, played an epic game in the Superdome that became an instant classic. On Sunday, however, both teams played a very sloppy game. Now, last year, of course, the Superdome was filled to capacity, and it was a raucous atmosphere, and the noise level was off the charts. This year, however, not the case due to the pandemic. They are allowing a few fans in, socially distanced, wearing masks, and you can see it's a bit of a festive atmosphere. However, that's not really what I wanted to show you guys. Instead, what I want to show you is take a look at the quarter and the time left. This is the first play of the game, and what we're going to see is something we're going to see all game long. This was a designed plan by the Saints to have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson blitz whenever he was lined up in the slot. They showed this on the first play of the game, so the 49ers, you would think, would make adjustments to this. Let's take a look and see how this played out. Boom, Jerick McKinnon is hit for a 3-yard loss. And again, you can't necessarily blame the 49ers for this one because it was the first play of the game after all. But we're going to see how this affected them over the course of the game. All right, let's skip way ahead in the drive. The 49ers are on the 4-yard line, and they're threatening to score. Now, the first thing we notice is San Francisco has 3 wide receivers on one side of the formation, a trips formation. And they send one man in motion. And they send a second man in motion. Both times you see the defenders go with him. That's usually an indication that it's man coverage. Now, for some reason here, the man that's supposed to be guarding Brandon Ayuk kind of gets mesmerized by Kendrick Bourne on the play. He just completely stops, and now there's nobody covering Brandon Ayuk. It's an easy read, throw, pass, catch, touchdown, everything for Ayuk, Mullins, and the 49ers. And they get on the board first, 7-0. Not going to get any easier than that. All right, the Saints can't move the ball. They punt. 49ers get the ball back, but now they're way backed up, 4th down and 18. Now you're going to see Deontay Harris call for a fair catch by waving his hand up in the air. That means the 49ers aren't allowed to touch him, but if he muffs the punt, that's a live football, and anybody who recovers it gets the ball. In this case, the 49ers. Huge mistake for the Saints. And I told you guys this was a bit of a sloppy game. All right, now the 49ers have the ball at midfield. Now it's a 2nd down and 15, meaning the 49ers have a long way to go before they can get to the first down. So you see the defender at the bottom of the screen giving Richie James a lot of space, because the worst thing the Saints can do in this situation is give up a long pass play to Richie James. So James just waits for him to backpedal out of the way, and when he does, James takes the space the defense left behind. Now James has to come back for the football, and it looks like there's 2 defenders right there, but he's so quick he's able to gain another 5 yards on the play, and he almost gets the first down. All right, that leaves a 3rd and 1, and the 49ers are going to have to pick up that yard to keep the drive going. Now, one thing about the 49ers is they always have so many different things they can do with the football. Mullins could roll out. Maybe he could pitch it to the running back. Or he could simply hand off to Kyle Juszczyk. If you're not sure what to do as a defender, remember you want to attack the mesh point. The linebacker, though, just simply overruns the play, and Kyle Juszczyk blows right by him. Now, interestingly enough, that's not just any linebacker. That's Quan Alexander, the player the 49ers just traded to the Saints. He may not have been expecting this play. Here, the 49ers continue the drive with a run to JaMycal Hasty. You can see the idea is to hand him the ball, and he can follow the 2 tight ends out in front blocking. But the Saints look like they are all over this play. They're already penetrating into the backfield. with those gosh darn tricky Niners. This is actually a fake. And Ross Dwelly is going to go deep on the play, and there's nobody to cover him. And look at this catch. Oh, that is nice. Let's go back to the snap. Now, at the start of this play, you're going to see every member of the San Francisco 49ers offensive line move to their right. That really helps to sell the run fake. Now, you can see one of the Saints players has a clean shot at Nick Mullins, but he blasts him up high. That's a penalty, and the 49ers would get half the distance to the goal in addition to the yardage they gain on the play. Now, you're on the road, you're having a really tough season, and you're playing a team that's better than you, but they've just made a number of mistakes, muffing the punt and then committing that penalty. You would really like to cash in for a touchdown here. So let's take a look at what the 49ers do here on 3rd and goal. The first thing we notice is that the Saints have 5 men lined up on the line of scrimmage. They're going to blitz. They're showing blitz here. To account for this, the 49ers are going to use Jerick McKinnon to help in pass protection. He's going to pick up Demario Davis. But take a look at what happens. He kind of whiffs on his block. And to make matters worse, all the receivers for the 49ers are covered. Nick Mullins is a sitting duck, and he has no choice but to take the sack. Big defensive play for the Saints, and the 49ers are forced to settle for a field goal, making the score 10-0. Okay, the 49ers kick the field goal. Now they have to kick off to the Saints. Now you remember Deontay Harris had that really bad mistake where he fumbled earlier, but here he has a really nice kickoff return, and it looks like Mitch Wishnowsky up top and Jimmy Ward underneath have him boxed in here. But he knows that the kicker for the 49ers, Wishnowsky, isn't really going to be an athletic tackler. Watch as he actually uses him as a blocker here. And he gains big yardage on the play. I'd say he made up for that mistake with a 75-yard kickoff return. Wow. Now, fortunately, the 49ers were able to limit the damage here and hold New Orleans to a field goal, which was successful, making the score 10-3. Now, immediately we notice that, again, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is lined up in the slot, and he's a threat to blitz. He should be picked up in pass protection by the running back, JaMycal Hasty. But instead, Hasty runs a route, allowing Johnson to go right by him, and he absolutely blasts Nick Mullins from the blind side. Now watch as Mullins is hit right as he throws. Ooh, that's a vicious hit. And the ball falls well short of the target. But it looked like Dwelly had a step on the linebacker, Quan Alexander. If that ball's out in front of him, that might be a completed pass. Instead, as I said, it's well short. All right, Saints get the ball back, but again the Niners defense holds, so it's 4th and 4, and now they have to punt. Now we're actually going to zoom in on Trent Taylor here, trying to return this punt. Now you saw him call for the fair catch, but he decides really way too late here that he's not going to try to return it. And when you do that, you have to wave off the people around you by yelling, Peter, 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 or something like that to get them to, that's one of those code words we talked about in the comments a few weeks ago, that if you yell that word, everybody on the team knows to stay away from the ball. Well, it looked like Taylor waited way too late to decide to try not to catch this punt. And as a result, he was not able to warn Kem Webster. The ball bounces right off of Webster. And since it's touched by a 49er, now it's a live ball. Any player that recovers it, it's their ball. And the Saints recover. So that was a big mistake for San Francisco. All right, now the Saints are threatening. And Drew Brees is sacked. Now that's Kentavious Street. And he uses excellent technique here. landing to the side so that he doesn't land on top of Breeze with all of his body weight, which would be a penalty. But there the officials throw a flag. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Okay, there's the sack. It's a clean play, but look at the officials looking at each other, and then they walk up to each other and start talking. It's almost as if they're convincing themselves that they saw something they didn't, and they throw a flag, and it's a horrible missed call by the officials. It gives the Saints an automatic first down. Now, we found out later that Breeze was really hurt on that play. We didn't find out how badly till after the game, but he apparently suffered a collapsed lung, which that's a very serious injury. In fact, I believe that's what ended Drew Bledsoe's career, at least in New England anyway, paving the way for a young second-year quarterback named Tom Brady. So anyway, Taysom Hill has to come into the game for Drew Brees. Now here you can see he's holding the ball in front of Alvin Kamara's kind of an option play. Remember, the idea is once the defensive end commits, he can then pull the ball back. But you can see how far upfield the running back is. It's way too late to pull this ball back now. He tries it anyway, and he fumbles. Now, luckily for the Saints, he did still manage to gain a couple yards on this, so it's second down. Hill's still in the game, and the Saints, they kept gaining yardage on these running plays. Without Drew Brees in the game, it was really driving me crazy. Let's watch here. Oh, that's a big run for a quarterback. Let's go back to the snap and see if we can figure out what happened. There you see 57 Dre Greenlaw. He was ready for this play, but as it turns out, maybe a little too ready. The Saints pull the guard to take out Eric Armstead, and Greenlaw overruns the play to where he thinks it's going. Hill just simply cuts back to the inside. All right, here we go. Third down. All right, Drew Brees is back in the game. Now again, had we known what we know now, it might have been clearer to the 49ers that the Saints were maybe running here. But here they take advantage of Jason Verrett. He's great at pass defense, but he kind of drifts inside there, and he's late reacting to the run by Alvin Kamara, who might have the best footwork in the National Football League. Let's take another look. Here you see Dre Greenlaw having just a bit of a hard time getting off his block, and it makes the result very easy for the Saints. You can tell they're a well-coached team. All right, tie game, 10-10. Now here you see Kendrick Bourne going in motion. The defender does not go with him, but he warns the rest of the defense, probably his own. Now you see two Saints defenders react really strongly to the threat of Kendrick Bourne catching this pass out of the backfield. I think this may have been a bit of an overreaction, but I'm sure what their thinking is if he catches the ball with blockers out in front of him, he could go for a big play. But this leaves no one to pick up Jordan Reed when he cuts across the field. Remember, since they're in a zone, these defenders aren't going to stray too far away from their areas. This is a nice catch by Reed, too. Everybody make a holiday wish this year to have Jordan Reed, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Jimmy Garoppolo all on the field at the same time. Okay, 2nd and 12, and notice the running clock, 2:53, and we're approaching the 2-minute warning. That's going to become important in just a moment. Now, you'll notice just the smallest of holes, just the tiniest of holes here, and Brandon Ayuk is going to run right in there and catch a pass. How does he do this? Well, see the defenders lined up to the inside. Ayuk just runs away from him, and the flanker on bottom goes deep, taking his defender with him. Ayuk is just so smooth, and he almost gets the first down on the play. That is very close to a first down. And the Saints defense, they were not tired, but they were just a little bit winded and maybe on their heels just a little bit. I really would have liked to have seen the 49ers run up to the line of scrimmage and do a quarterback sneak here if they're going to try to get this first down. Their thinking was they want to take some time off the clock so they don't give the ball back to the Saints. But if you get the first down, you actually want that time for yourself. I think they outsmarted themselves a little bit. They let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning, and then they try this kind of bizarre trick play that we're going to look at here. More of a misdirection play than a trick play, actually, but the idea is they want to get Jerick McKinnon on the edge. But as you can see, the Saints are all over this route. BDN has nowhere to run, so this play looks like a disaster. Now, he does have Brandon Ayuk to the inside, but Ayuk knows where he needs to get to on the field to get the first down, so he's drifting backwards. Mullins throws the ball to where he is, not where he's going to be, and as a result, the pass is incomplete. Now again, we're going to see the entire 49er offensive line move to their left. The idea of this is to trick the Saints into moving to that direction. But as you can see, the Saints aren't fooled at all. They are all over this. Now maybe as a sign of some of the respect Brandon Ayuk is starting to get around the league, you can see David Onyemata standing over him there. He considered that a pretty big accomplishment that he was able to take him down. And then he extends his hand to help him up, just showing some respect to the young rookie. And you can also see Quan Alexander there helping him up too. But now it's 4th and 1. And what you had was the Saints got a breather. They got a chance to think about what the 49ers might do on 3rd down. And then they're ready for the 4th down play. And as you can see, it's absolutely blown up. Let's see if we can find out what happened. Okay. You can see that there's a defender right there ready to blow up McKinnon. Let's go back and take one more look, and we'll just watch really slowly. That's the rookie Colton McKivitz, number 68, and he just gets smoked off the line of scrimmage here. Whew, happens that quick in the NFL. Boom. And look who it is. Onyemata again single-handedly blew up the 49ers on 3rd and 4th down. Huge play for the Saints, who get the ball back now with time on the clock. And Drew Brees is going to attempt a pass here. They don't even really bother faking it to the running back, and you can see the way the offensive line is set up and the routes the receivers are running. Maybe they're setting San Francisco up to take a deep shot here. But that's exactly what they want the 49ers to think. Take a real close look. It looks like the 49er defenders all have a clear shot at Drew Brees now. But you can see the running back is coming open underneath with blockers out in front of him. This is another screen pass. Something the 49ers have kind of gotten away from this year, and here the Saints use it effectively against them. This is really nicely executed. If you allow Kamara to get the ball in space like that, you will pay. That was a big play right before the half, and it puts the Saints in position to score more points. Beautiful run. He shakes Hyder off at the end like nothing, too. Wow. Now, Mark Schlereth did an outstanding job of explaining exactly what happened here on the telecast. You can see that Alvin Kamara is going to run a route out of the flat, and Fred Warner is responsible for going with him. But you can also see that Drew Brees had fumbled the football, and Warner gets mesmerized by the ball. He isn't where he's supposed to be, so when Brees picks it up, there's nobody guarding Alvin Kamara, and it's an easy touchdown for the Saints. Watch number 54 from this angle, and you'll see crystal clear exactly what happened. All right, let's jump ahead to the 3rd quarter now, and the 49ers are facing a 3rd down and 12. Now notice right away how many players the Saints have on the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are they all coming? Are they going to blitz? Well, that's what they want San Francisco to think. but safety Malcolm Jenkins is actually going to drop back into coverage. Now with the defender stepping up to pick up the underneath receiver, it looks like Brandon Ayuk is going to be wide open over the middle. But Mullins never realizes that Jenkins had dropped back into coverage. He never sees him. And when he throws the ball to Ayuk, Jenkins steps right in front of it. Now check out my man Richie James coming in here to lay the wood. All right, Saints have the ball, but fortunately for the 49ers, Taysom Hill makes a little bit of a mistake here. Now right here you can clearly see Javon Kinlaw getting held, but he still manages to get off this block and he sacks Hill for a loss. Now, why did I say that Hill made a mistake? Let's take a look at this play in a little bit more detail. The first thing we'll look at is former 49er Emmanuel Sanders cutting across. Now, normally you would expect Jason Verrett to go with him, but the 49ers aren't playing man-to-man here. They're going to play a zone. So the linebacker is going to pick up Sanders when he comes into his zone, and the safety is also going to go over that way too just to help out. But Jared Cook is coming the other way, and he runs right into the space the defense left behind, and Jason Verrett is actually kind of running in a straight line here. That leaves a pretty big hole for Jared Cook, and I'm really surprised Taysom Hill didn't pull the trigger on this. Here you can clearly see if this ball had been delivered, Cook would have had the first down and a big gain to boot. But I want you to watch how quickly this window closes when Verrett does come over to pick him up. The window closes that fast, Hill has to hold the ball, and when you hold the ball, you get sacked. Niners get the ball still trailing 17-10 in the third quarter. Now, I wonder if anyone can tell me who's lined up as the slot corner for the New Orleans Saints. If you guessed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you guessed right. And, yes, he is going to blitz. Now, this time, the 49ers are ready. Jerick McKinnon is back there, but this is pretty awful pass protection on his part. He sets up way too far to the outside, thinking Johnson is going to take the long way around. Johnson simply says, "No problem, I'll just cut to the inside and go straight for the quarterback." What McKinnon should have done was come up to meet this block. As any good offensive line coach will tell you, you can't just sit back there and catch him. You got to go meet him. He tries to recover, but it's too late. Johnson gets enough of Mullins, who was in the middle of backpedaling, remember, and Mullins loses his balance and falls down. That counts as a sack. Huge play for the Saints. Take another look from this angle. I think it's very clear here that the 49ers were finally ready for this. McKinnon sees him all the way. And Mullins is really frustrated. They finally diagnose the blitz, and they blow the pass protection. All right, Saints get the ball back. Here we go, fourth quarter. It's go time. The Saints put Emmanuel Sanders in motion, but Jimmy Ward does not go with him. Instead, he signals for, there he is, Tarvarius Moore. You guys wanted to see him play. He's now in the game. He sends Moore over there to guard him. Why? Ward is going to drop back into coverage the same way Jenkins did for the Saints. He's going to try to pick off this pass. And it looks like the ball hits him right in the hands, and he drops it. If you remember last week, we talked on this channel about the fact that Jimmy Ward is very solid, but not spectacular. You just saw a perfect example of it right there. And I want to make sure I credit Rob Louder for coming up with this stat. Jimmy Ward has not had an interception since 2016. Gotta bring that one in. Now, I'm going to play this at normal speed, and you're going to see how quickly this ball gets to his hands. It would have been a tough one, but you play in the National Football League. You got to bring that in. And now the Saints are going to be able to kick a field goal. That would have taken potentially 3 points off the board for the Saints. had Ward come up with that play. All right, it's 20-10, and the 49ers are facing a 3rd down and 21. And it's the 4th quarter. They don't really have a lot of time to kind of mess around with a draw play or anything like that. They've got to go deep here. And you'll notice that's not Nick Mullins in the game. That's C.J. Beathard. They brought him into the game because he has a stronger arm. Now the Saints are set up to defend the sticks. They're defending the 1st down line. So Richie James says, no problem. I'll just run right past the 1st down line and go deep. And James actually gets open. But the pass is underthrown. Even though it was CJ that was throwing it, would have had to travel about 60 yards in the air, which is a long way. That's about the maximum. And viewers of this channel know I've been very critical of CJ Beathard, but I'm going to give him a pass on this one. He hadn't been in the game to this point. He didn't know he was going in until right before the play. There was an injury timeout. And he tried to warm up kind of, frantically as best he could, but you can't get a proper warm-up in that time. His arm was cold. He's not going to be able to throw that 60 yards. Most people can't. Not in that situation. Fortunately for the 49ers, they were able to force another punt. Now, you may remember that Deontay Harris for the Saints badly muffed a punt, and the 49ers recovered. But then he had a big play with a 75-yard kickoff return later. Well, here the Niners have put Richie James in the game, and you can see the ball come right down. And he muffs it, and the Saints get the ball. The Niners had pulled Trent Taylor after he had made this mistake on the punt return earlier. I think that Shanahan needs to do a better job of letting his players play through their mistakes a little bit. Sean Payton left Deontay Harris in the game, and he rewarded the Saints by making up for it. The 49ers pulled Trent Taylor and put in Richie James. Richie James muffed that punt, and you saw the Saints punch it in to go up big. Now the 49ers need to score with some big plays fast. Unfortunately, it looks like one of the Saints has a clean shot at Nick Mullins here, but take a closer look. This is actually another screen pass designed for Austin Walter, a player the 49ers had just called up from the practice squad on Saturday. The Niners have had a lot of injuries, and they need all the help they can get. Now watch, this is great. He breaks one tackle, breaks another tackle, and he's off to the races. Austin Walter, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's what the Niners need to do. They need big plays. They need to move down the field quickly if they're going to get back into this game. Wow, great effort there. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. 6 minutes to go. There's still time. Remember, big plays, fast. So what do the Niners do? They send Brandon Ayuk deep. Now, what do you need to throw a deep pass? You need time. So the 49ers leave both tight ends in the game, and they line up as pass protectors to give Nick Mullins that extra time. Just take a look at the pass protection he had. Now, Ayuk puts a really nice move on the defender. In fact, check this out. This move is so wicked, you can actually see the plastic pebbles that come up from the artificial turf. That's what a brutal move that was. To the point where the defender felt like he had to reach out and grab and hold on the Brandon Ayuk. Now, even so, Ayuk was able to get by him, and here we're going to see a really good example of why C.J. Beathard was brought into the game to throw deep, because even with Ayuk going by him, Mullins still underthrows this pass. I mean, it was the best he could do, but Mullins doesn't have the strongest arm. We all know that. And this ball did travel a lot further than I could throw it. I know that. Look at the pass protection Mullins has here. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm. That's not a state secret. But the 49ers do get the pass interference penalty, which gives them an automatic first down. With the yardage, they're able to tack on a field goal, making the score 27-13. There's only 3 minutes left to go, though. They need this ball back now. Now it's 3rd and 2, and the Saints don't want to stop the clock for any reason. So even though there's no running back in the backfield, and the Saints do have a few wide receivers in the formation, it's pretty clear that with everybody on the line of scrimmage, especially lined up so tightly like this, this is going to be a running play to Taysom Hill. Now, it's not even enough that the Niners stop him here. What they need is the ball. They need a turnover. Now watch Jimmy Ward come in late and knock this ball out. And it's recovered by the 49ers. He did force the fumble, and the 49ers get the ball back. Big plays fast, so the 49ers have their two receivers on the bottom cut to the outside. That draws the attention of these defenders. And with the stem of Jordan Reed's route, that's the first part of the route. You can think of the stem as like the stem before you get to the flower. You don't know what's going to happen yet. You just see a stem going in a straight direction. It looks as if he's going deep. So the safety drifts over that way just to be sure. And in addition to that, the safety is reading Nick Mullins' eyes, and Mullins is looking right in that direction, moving the safety right where he wants him to go so that when Jordan Reed cuts to the inside, he'll be open. Now, he does have to beat the linebacker, and he does a pretty good job of that. Awesome. Let's go back to the snap. Now, how was Reed able to beat the linebacker? Well, if you watch, he puts a little move on him, a little shake and bake. Just what the doctor ordered, and the 49ers aren't done yet. Big plays fast. Of course, the Saints know this too. So here you can see the safety for New Orleans giving a lot of space. Why? Well, the worst thing the Saints could do is give up a bonehead deep touchdown to, say, Brandon Ayuk. So he gives them a lot of space, and he takes that play away. So what do you do if you're the 49ers? Well, notice these defenders stepping up to meet the underneath threats. And notice the defender guarding Ayuk is playing an outside technique. So when Ayuk cuts to the inside, there's no one there. Now, there is one problem with this, which is that, again, the ball is going to have to travel a long way in the air. And it's going to give the safety time to get over there and make a play. So Mullins will have to fit this ball in, and Ayuk and Mullins combine for a really nice play here. Oh, are you kidding me? What a catch. We've got to take a look at that again, of course. Can you imagine when Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel are on the field at the same time? All right. Niners need a touchdown here. There's still 2.5 minutes to go. Plenty of time. Mullins throws, and the pass is picked. Game over. Saints are going to win it. Let's go back and take a look at what happened, though. For one thing, if you're going to throw a 50-50 ball here, I would have liked to have seen an attempt to Brandon Ayuk. Now, you can see that, again, the pass protection is good. There was no reason for Mullins to rush this throw. But he throws it before Kendrick Bourne can really gain position on the defender. And we get a great look at the football here. And in order for this to be a true 50-50 ball, the ball would have to be coming in from a much steeper angle so that it can drop down and be a jump ball for both of them to go up and catch. Instead, this ball is on a very flat trajectory. Bourne doesn't have position over the defender yet, and it's an easy interception for the Saints. So once again, we're left with the question, where do the 49ers go from here? Well, we're almost done with the gauntlet. We've got 2 games left. We're 2-3, right? We beat the Rams and the Patriots. Then we fell to the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Saints. We've got 2 games left, the Rams again, and the Bills. We're 4-6. I think to get, obviously, to 9-7, we'd have to go 5-1 over the last 6 games. That's going to be really tough. There's some good competition out there. Plus, it's the NFL. Every game is tough. But we should be getting some players back from injury. And I think if you take this 1 week at a time, especially the next 2 games, you look at the Rams and you look at the Bills, you've got to win one of those games. I don't care which one. If you win one of those games, you're 5-6. Maybe you lose one, you're 5-7. But then you've got the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys, 2 very beatable teams. And then your final games of the season are Arizona and Seattle. If you can win both of those games, you're probably going to be in, especially this year with an extra playoff team. And again, they're still kicking around this idea of adding an 8th playoff team to the conference. If they do that, maybe then the 49ers only need to go 8-8. Maybe they only need to go 4-2 over their last 6. So they are definitely not dead yet. They're on life support, but they're not dead. The thing about the Saints game that's so frustrating is this was a very winnable game. I think it was, David Lombardi and of course others too, who were just really hammering this point home over and over again that if you don't have the muff punt, if you don't have the interceptions, right? If you don't have the 75-yard kickoff return, if you don't have the missed call from the official on the Drew Brees play, the Niners probably win this game pretty easily. The defense played really well. But unfortunately, the offense and the special teams just made too many mistakes that the team wasn't able to overcome it. The good news is those things are all fixable. It's pretty rare that you're going to see team, muff punts like that multiple times in one game, with Richie James doing it and Trent Taylor, via Ken Webster, right? So the Niners, they're still a good team. They're still well coached. They're just making some mistakes. I think Shanahan's kind of gotten into a bad habit of anytime anybody makes a mistake, he pulls them. And your team can't play loose and relaxed and unafraid to make a mistake that way. Like I said, you've got to let players play through those mistakes a little bit. Sean Payton did that, and Kyle Shanahan didn't. That's maybe something he can learn from there. So we'll see. We've got the Rams coming up. They just played an exhausting game against the Buccaneers. They've got to fly all the way back across the country. And, of course, the Niners are coming off a bye. The bad news for San Francisco, of course, is they've had to deal with some more player issues. Not injuries this time around, fortunately, but they've had to put some people on the COVID-19 list. Yes, they are athletes. They are young men. They are probably going to recover much better than you or I, much quicker. Can they recover to the point of being able to play professional football in a week's time? Well, that remains to be seen. And, of course, with Trent Williams, that's actually a potentially very serious diagnosis because he is a cancer survivor, which affects your immune system. So that's something that, to really be aware of, and just keep Trent Williams in your thoughts. Aside from that, guys, I just want to say, I really can't thank you enough for watching my videos. It takes a long time to make a video like this. If you could just give me 10 seconds and hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. And, of course, in a couple of days here in the United States, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So whatever you're doing for Thanksgiving, whether you're going to your families or whether you're staying home this year, I just want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you can find something about that day that makes you happy. Of course, there will be some football on. You can get a little preview of the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys. 2 teams that we're playing coming up are going to be playing each other on Thanksgiving. So that might be something fun for you guys to watch. All right, guys, we're going to have a great game against the Rams on Sunday. Kyle Shanahan's going to have something cooked up for him. There was a lot of really cool plays at the end of that Saints game, those big explosive plays in the fourth quarter. So he's got them in the playbook. We just got to watch and see what happens. And after that, we're going to break down that game, and I will see you guys then.